So will double threshold training lead me to a brand new 5 and 10k PB this summer? Well, I guess we're going to find out. So welcome back to another video, and today is a double threshold kind of day. Today I'm diving in and talking to you guys about how I'm going to be utilising double threshold training to hopefully bring me some stronger and faster performances over the 5 and 10k distance. I want to talk to you guys about the changes that I'm making from the last time that I did this type of training to what I'm going to be doing now, and hopefully get the most out of that type of training. So what we're going to be doing is diving straight into this morning's session. Cutting back here, I'll explain the changes, what I'm doing, and all of that good stuff. Then we'll head out for the evening session afterwards. So welcome back to another video. Here we go, double threshold time. It's this time about 2 years ago where I embarked on 15 weeks worth of double threshold training. It had its ups, it had its downs, and I'm going to explain to you today what I'm going to do slightly differently this time to make sure that I can maximize this type of training. And the session this morning is 5 by 2k off of 60 seconds. Very light, easy jog recovery. Excited for this, excited to get back into it. I'll explain how I'm working at paces and all that stuff afterwards. As I just said, I'm running late this morning, so I've got to get this done. I got my activations done, but that compromised the amount of warm-up I could do. But for me, it's far more important to get my activations done. I overslept. It's going to take a while to get back into this getting up early malarkey, but we're going to be getting it done. So I'll be back out later for the second session. For now, let's try and get 5 by 2k done. There we go, 7:12 for that first 2k rep. Nice and controlled, nice and relaxed. That felt good. There we go, second one done. 7:23, so that was some 11 seconds slower than the first one. That's the joy of working to effort and keeping an eye on your heart rate, which again I'll explain at the end. This way is uphill and a bit of wind. The first one is down and no wind. The wind's obviously behind me, so I expect number 3, the next one, to be slightly quicker again. So about halfway done with the session, midway through rep 3, just trying to keep this effort level, this effort level being a conversational effort level. That's all I'm keeping in my mind. Can I keep talking to myself? Can I keep up this effort? I am glancing at heart rate, but I'm not. I had issues with it before and I'm not 100% sold. It's telling me right now that my heart rate is quite high, but if it was, I don't think I could be speaking to you like this. So I'm just going by effort. Otherwise, good stuff so far. 7:14 for number 3. That was good. As soon as I stopped recording, within about 20 seconds, my heart rate came down from around 168, 169 to 160, 161, which is where I thought it should be. So maybe a bit of a glitch there. Either way, 2 to go. $7:21 for rep 4, so very equal to what I did on this way, a second quicker. So yeah, it's going well this morning. Last one. There we go, 7:14 that last one. So that went 7:12, 7:23, 7:14, 7:22, 7:14. So nice and consistent with the outs and the backs, the downs and the ups. That felt really good. Very happy with that. Really think that the little tweaks there I made made a difference, so I'll explain what that main one is. So there we go, walked away feeling very happy with myself with that session and feeling really good right now. It's lunchtime, so I'm about to eat well before this evening's session. I am now going to clarify 3 things with you guys that I alluded to in this morning's session so that you have those answers, and any more questions, do feel free to drop them in the comments. I will just state though, this isn't a video that I'm going to be diving in and explaining double threshold training. I will leave a link at the end of this video to one I produced a couple of years ago where I go into more detail about it. But for those of you who have no idea what it is, a very quick snapshot, 2 threshold workouts in a day, both very controlled. One is looking to work around LT1 or your aerobic threshold, which is kind of where you go from zone 2 to zone 3 in a classic 5-zone model. And the other one is nearer your anaerobic threshold, so LT2. So the morning one is much more controlled. The evening one is a little bit faster, but you still don't go to the well in it. It is a very controlled system. And again, that's why I'm very happy with this morning for keeping it under control. So that's a very quick snapshot. If you want to know more, wait to the end of the video and go and check out the one I produced a couple of years ago. Let me answer those 3 questions now. So the first one is, I mentioned pace and heart rate, keeping an eye on it and using that as a metric for my training, because right now I do not have a lactate monitor. I am wanting to change that, and I do want to get my hands on a lactate monitor because I did this for 15 weeks 2 years ago and it went pretty well, but I'm very confident I overcooked it back then. So now I'm trying to keep a rein on things a little bit more. Now that I've learned more and been through it, I know what I want to feel, and basically when I did it 2 years ago, after those double threshold days, I was cooked for the rest of the week. I know I overdid it. So what I was looking for in my morning session was to be putting in an effort that is slightly over my zone 2 moderate effort. So if you follow the channel and you follow my training series, you'll know I do a lot of moderate runs, zone 2 and easy runs, but zone 2 is sort of my favorite pace. I just feel like I can pick up the pace but still keeping a good aerobic effort and still under my aerobic threshold. I'm looking to basically step over that, which is why I was talking about control in the video and not pushing too hard. Now what I will say is my heart rate was slightly higher than I anticipated. I am sick at the moment again, but it's just a cold, so it's nothing more than that, just in the throat and a bit sinusy. So that's going to elevate things slightly. But what I was making sure I was doing all the way was, can I still hold a conversation? And I knew that if I could hold a conversation, I was talking to myself a lot during those reps, making sure that everything was okay and I wasn't pushing too hard, then that's where I felt comfortable. My heart rate monitor was giving me a bit of a guide, and my goal was to sort of sit between 153 and 160, which is just over my zone 2 heart rate. So from that perspective, I overshot it a little bit, but the average session heart rate was 159. And for most of the reps, I kept in that zone. There was just towards the end, I pushed slightly over it. So overall, that was a lot more controlled than it was a couple of years ago, because also I took it out onto the trails a couple of years ago. It's a lot more lumpy and bumpy, and I was pushing way harder than what I did there. So I knew the importance here is to get through the day feeling good, have enough in the tank for the evening session, but also not to ruin myself for the rest of the week. Now, speaking of the rest of the week, what I want to change this time around is to be incorporating a really good speed session also in the week, with maybe something else as well. So when I did it last time, I was marathon training, and a lot of my mileage was easy and moderate, and then I did a big threshold workout, and then I did a marathon pace workout, and I feel like there was a lot of areas that I left untouched. Like, I've been enjoying what I would class blended training, where I've been starting some workouts with a bit of a tempo, working in zone 3 and then going interval stuff. I was very much sort of like easy and moderate work, threshold work, and then marathon pace work, not doing any top end whatsoever, and not sort of filling in the blanks in the middle. And that's where I feel I went wrong last time, because I felt extremely strong after those 15 weeks in and around my threshold, but I felt like I had absolutely no top end whatsoever, and I just felt like I wasn't as sharp as I have been in the past. So what's key for me this time is flipping it on its head. I'm doing this for 5 and 10K training. I'm still going to be keeping a really quality, sharp workout in the week. My long runs are going to disappear for the short period of time on the Saturday is going to become a session instead, because I am going to be getting between 18 to 20 miles of work done on these double threshold days. So that's going to kind of double up as a threshold and a long run day. And yeah, I'm going to be focusing much more on still getting that shorter, sharper turnover in, which I'm hoping is going to be the thing that makes the difference. And finally, shoe choice. You saw me use the Adios Pro 3 this morning. Sadly, it just didn't work out. The Adios Pro 3 is such a great shoe, but sizing is absolutely terrible in that shoe, and my toes pretty much hit the end. So my big toe's quite sore after this morning, but other than that, it's just the perfect shoe. I'm genuinely considering cutting the end out of the top of the left foot, because my left foot is a half size bigger, just to give my big toe a bit of space to move, because it is otherwise absolutely perfect. But it's why I've just never raced in it, because it just aggravates me. And yeah, if I go up to a 14.5, it's no good. But that big chunk of light strike is what I'm after, and I feel those energy rods give me a bit more of a natural sensation rather than a stiff, rigid carbon plate. And I don't want to get into the habit of using super shoes every single time. Last time I did it, I used a Brooks Hyperion Max for the morning, or the Tempo, and then another shoe in the evening, never really a super shoe. I do want to experiment with my Alphafly version 1. I'm never going to race in that again, and I don't get calf issues in that one. It's only things like the Vaporfly, the Endorphin Pro 3 or 4, where the plate sits lower to the ground, I get calf issues with that. The Alphafly, I tend to be okay. So I am going to be experimenting with my version 1 and maybe digging that out for tonight's session and seeing how I go. I am appreciating right now how fresh my legs feel after using the Adios Pro 3, so that's something. But in future, I'm definitely going to be looking for something with good cushioning, but really try and avoid the carbon plates for both the sessions. And if I use them for one, then so be it. I'm happy to use them once a week, but I definitely don't want to use them for both sessions. So fingers crossed I've answered all the questions that I alluded to this morning. We're going to roll now straight into this evening session and see how that one goes with the Alphaflys. But if you have any other questions that I haven't answered, please do feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to give you a thorough answer if they're a technical question. Right, let's roll in to the next one. There we go. 15-minute warm-up done. Welcome to this evening session. Cheers, boys and girls. Down the hatch we go. So as I said with these, I'm diverting a little bit, but I'm trying them now after the warm-up, before the session. There's the bin. In they go. So yeah, they've been pretty effective for me. Had one this morning, having one now. Feeling really good. Really good tonight. I feel I've never felt like this on a double day, and I can cast my mind back and I can remember how much of a slog it felt to do an evening session. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure 4, 5, 6k in I'll be a bit fatigued, but right now the warm-up I was just cruising along at 720 per mile. So yeah, feeling really good. And we have company tonight. There he is, company. I told you. Isn't this cool? It's great to be working out with Lee tonight. So Lee's obviously doing a different session, but it is the evening. These summer evenings are what we live for. I don't like coming out of an evening on my own, so this is great to have a bit of moral support. We're going to be cheering each other on, doing different things, but cheering each other on. We're actually going to get the first K-Rep done, hopefully together, and then we're just going to split off and do our separate things, but we'll be at least out here working hard together. So just walking to the start now, and we will get this one underway. Oh yeah, I haven't even told you what the session is. 10 by a K, 10 by a K off 60 seconds. So again, control. Like this morning we did 5 by 2k. That's 10k worth of work this morning, 10k tonight, so 20k total threshold work for today. But as you can see, with the 60 seconds rest, it has to be controlled. So what am I aiming for? I am going to be using the heart rate as a bit of a guide, but I'm going to be looking pace wise, I'm hoping it falls in around the 5:30s. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll keep an eye on things, keep an eye on breathing. Obviously I want to go next level from this morning, but not crazy. So yeah, let's get the first couple done and see where we're at. All right, let's go. Yep, 5:30s it is. 2 done. That was a 3:27 going down, 3:29 coming back up, just like this morning. Down, up, down, up. Let's get 3 and 4 done. There we go, 3 and 4 done. 3:29 going back that way. Bit of pavement jumping on number 4. 3:31, that put a spanner in the works a little bit, but still felt good. 6 to go. K5 and 6 done, 3:26, 3:29 for those two. Really happy, this is going well. There we go, 7 and 8 done, 3:26, 3:28, 2 more. Wonderful, we did it, that was great. 3:28 and then 3:26 on this last one on the way back. Yeah, what more can I say other than that was paced perfectly. So grateful to feel as good as I did this evening. That shows to me that I put in the right effort this morning, or the right effort to get tonight done, whether it's in the right lactate zones. As I said, need to get a lactate meter, but that is possibly one of the best double thresholds I've ever executed, and it's a great way to come back into it, to be honest with you, feeling very accomplished. So there we go, first double threshold day done. I won't make this outro long because you've seen enough of me today, but I do want to just say a couple of things for me to note moving forward. So I feel really good today. It's now the next day. I feel better than I ever have off the back of any double threshold training I've done previously. I usually feel super wrecked the next day. I don't today. So that's a really good sign. And I'm very pleased with the discipline yesterday. But hey, ultimately, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree, if you undertake this sort of training, number one, you have to approach it with caution because it's a big load. And number two, I really need to get a lactate monitor to really make sure that I am working in the right zones, because I do suspect that I'm maybe still working a little bit higher. Who knows? I've got no idea. All I know is I got the effort right to execute the 2 sessions in the way I wanted to. But whether my lactate levels were too high, too low, who knows? So that is something that I'm definitely going to be trying to invest in over the next month. I might end up getting another 2 or 3 double threshold days done before I get a monitor. But at least yesterday gave me a good idea as to how I felt and the feelings that I wanted to feel in the morning so that I could then execute the evening session well. As for shoes, I have indeed come home and butchered my Adios Pro 3s because I do want to keep using them, so I have cut the ends of them. You will see in next week's video, no doubt, what I've done to them, but they feel a lot better walking around. I do want to keep using them. They've got good life in them. I pay good money for them and I want to use them to the best of their ability. The Alpha Fly, yes, they were great last night. I'm not sure. My calves are a little bit sore today, and that's something that I've just got to be aware of. I was hoping that they wouldn't make my calves too sore, but they clearly have. So again, I'm just going to approach the rest of the week with caution. They're a little bit sore towards the end of the workout, and although obviously the Alpha Flies are going to help me be efficient and feel really good on the run, and my legs in general do not feel beaten up, I've just got to be careful. Super Shoes and me don't really get on. I feel like the Adios Pro 3 are okay with the energy rods, but I'll definitely consider a different evening session shoe moving on to next week. And if I do choose a super shoe, I'm definitely going to be mixing it up, and if I don't, then yeah, we'll play it by ear and we'll see how I feel each week. But there we go. Overall, I'm buzzing. I'm really happy, and I'm excited to see if this type of training does bring me some good results later on in the summer. Stay tuned, fingers crossed. I'll do my best to document it as best as possible, and stay tuned for Sunday where I'll be producing my usual training vlog. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. I'll see you on the next one.